Here we can't see Jesus as ourselves, or definitely his mother. Yet we are told by Josephus and others, all of them speak of a non-European Jesus. And I use the word non-European to ease your pain. Suppose I translate, Josephus saw a black Jesus in his writing, as all the other men who came just shortly after this. Let's take Saul of Tarsus when he was coming along the road, and this was after the departure of Jesus, of course. And Saul of Tarsus reported, after he had been confronted by the Christians there, that he had seen Jesus on the road when Saul was on the road. And what kind of a Jesus would he have seen? He could not possibly have seen a Jesus that was European, for he had no contact in our literature as a European. He had contact fighting Europeans or struggling against Europeans, the Roman army. At the time, being born of a Hebrew mother, let us go down then and backcheck the possibility of his Hebrewness being, quote unquote, his whiteness. It could not be, because being Hebrew has nothing to do with being of a race or of a color. You can't speak of a Christian race or Christian color, a Muslim race or Muslim color. Equally, you can't speak of a Hebrew race and a Hebrew color. So we could drop that. But let us look at one of the most important figures in Hebrewism or Judaism, either way you want to call it. And that figure would be more noted than the original Hebrew, Abraham. That figure is the one upon which Judaism is primarily based, because it is Moses that we are told who wrote the basic books of Judaism, the 5 books of the Bible, or the Torah, upon which Christianity is equally based. For Christianity adopted the Old Testament adjoined to the New Testament. And in one passage there in Exodus, it speaks in identifying Moses. Number one, he was trained in the ways of the Egyptians and became an Egyptian priest. That's telling his identity based upon where he got his learning. But then let's look at it from another perspective. The way in which he became in the royal family was that his mother supposed to have had him again at a period of time when there were people planning to kill Moses. Seems to have had the same background as Jesus as his youth is concerned. His mother carried him to the bulrush at the River Nile, of which we felt we had nothing to do with. Next week is going to start Rosh Hashanah. And very few of us here think that we got anything to do with Rosh Hashanah, even though we may get the day off. That's about the only thing we may feel we got to do when the boss said, well, I'm not opening up this week, at least Thursday. Then you say, well, that's my role with Judaism. I got the day off. But you don't understand that Rosh Hashanah dealing with the Nile, dealing with your piece of real estate. That's before you got a piece of Harlem, of course. I mean, long, long before that. You would remember that point because I'm talking about Africa, and that's a dirty word. You don't want to hear that too often. I know you didn't want to hear it because you went colored, Negro, tan, peanut vendor. What are the other? Negro, and now Afro. Then now you're African American. Next week you'll be just plain African, but you'll get there. I'm sticking with you because there's a lot of hope for you. You're gonna make it. So I'm sticking with you because I've been there with you one time. Now, it said that Moses was saved because the Pharaoh's daughter came down. She was going to take a bath in the Nile, of course. And she picked up this little baby boy where his mother had left him. Of course, nobody's realizing how is she going to take back this little boy and her daddy killing all the little boys who aren't Egyptians. Now, if her daddy didn't kill him when she brought him back to the house, obviously he looked like a little Egyptian kid, wouldn't you say? Remember, daddy's killing anything that isn't Egyptian, and he's a boy. And he doesn't kill this boy. And this boy brought back for his daughter, obviously. I mean, considering that this is a lax father, I mean, being me, my daughter came back with a little boy from the river. I was going to check, I was going to call the king's physician and said, give this one a quick check here, brother. She bring back this little boy here and got it in my, how did this happen under my eyes? But leave that. Let's say there's a lax Pharaoh. I mean, the Pharaoh doesn't check too many things. And daughter got away with it. At least when the boy started to grow up, the Pharaoh is going to realize that this boy doesn't belong to this house. The only way the Pharaoh is going to know that the boy belongs to the house is he looks like the Pharaoh or people that look like the Pharaoh or like his daughter. And then the Pharaoh said, oh, she got this baby, but at least it's for one of our boys. But that didn't happen in the case of Moses. Let's take it one step further. As Moses grew up like his sister Miriam and like his brother Aaron, and we are told the convenient things that they had, the luxury. Moses is to get married. He's going to marry the daughter of who? Reuel. Reuel would be the priest, the high priest of Midian, right where Israel is today. The connection there by the Sinai Peninsula, part of Africa, and Asia, where it was joined long before there was a Suez Canal. And Moses is supposed to say, two different occasions, he's supposed to identify himself. One, he challenges the Lord, that's Jehovah. And Jehovah is going to show him, well, man, I'm bad. You think you're bad, but I'm bad stuff. You know how God speaks. Before Shakespeare got hold of God, thee, thou, and thine. God speaks like all of us in Harlem, you know, hey, brother, come here. And, you know, and I mean, down in the Caribbean like me, something. But God said, look, I told you to do this and you refuse. Now let me show you how bad I am. And so God did what? Say, put your hand in your bosom and I'll show you how bad I am. And lo and behold, Moses put his hand in his bosom and it had turned black. No, I thought I missed it. It had turned white. No, if it was white and it turned white, then God wasn't bad.